Alright, testing the old Commodore 128. This is the Commodore 128. And I tried to load several different games. I put the head cleaner in there. I actually took it back apart to clean the heads. And I couldn't get anything to load. And so I'm got these two cartridges here, these fast load cartridges. But you see that it boots in. This is the 128 mode here. See there, it's booting there. Now if you hold down the Commodore key and reset it, let's see if I can do that. I'm holding the camera, and I'm going to try to hold this button down here and then reset the computer, and you see what it does. It's saying this should be in the 64 mode, and it's saying out of memory. And now you see those funny things on the screen there. From what I'm seeing online, that's saying that the memory is bad on the 64 side of the motherboard. And so when you put one of these fast cartridges in there, it will boot in the 64 mode. Now let me just show you. Okay, now I'm going to push it, reset it. So now we're in the 64 mode. That's the warp speed cartridge, but I still can't load any games. I got one. Okay, this was a real good game here. The Duel, the race car game, had pretty good graphics on it too, and I can't get that one to load for nothing. And none of the Geos will load in 128. Now here's the only one I got to load. This one. And actually, the only game I got to load was Burning Rubber. Okay, let's see. We'll go to the directory, and I'm using a fast boot cartridge. Now, if I come up here to where's it at? Burning Rubber. Now you'll see it start to load. That's the only game that I could get to load. All the other games, it runs out of memory and has all kind of problems. And you see those things flashing on the screen. That's not normal. Those characters, there's zeros there. And from what I found out online, okay, now we're going to go, let's see, where am I at on that? Okay, it didn't load. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, let's try this better this time. Let's go load Burning Rubber, comma 8, comma 1. Get that out of the way and see if we can get this thing to run. But I went through pretty much all the software, and none of them, some of them will show directories, most of them won't show any directories. Okay, let's see, run. Let me just clear that out. And so there that one is. And it did play and everything with the joystick here. So it all seems to work. A little bit of funny stuff there at the bottom, if you can see that. That's not normal. And some of the things I think are kind of messed up, like that I don't know. Anyway, but that's the only one I can get to really load. And the other one on that disc was Quicks, that one too. That's the only two out of all these discs, that is the only two discs that I've got to load. And then I'm going to show you. So this game, you know, to play, but I don't know how to really get it started, because on that screen it'll just sit there for a while, and I push buttons and I don't do anything. I was thinking maybe hit the space bar and it's ready to go, but it doesn't do anything. But if you wait then for a few more minutes here, it'll finally come around and start playing. And then you can just start the game. But there's no buttons that tell it to go. hitting different keys. Usually it's a space bar or something like that, or return, but it's funny that this game, you just sit there until I tell it, until it decides to go, and then I can start playing. But anyway, what I want to show you is, okay, that one loads. It's really a crappy game. You can see the graphics there. Okay, but what I want to show you is, let's reset the thing. Now to check the memory, you type in print FRE and this right here. Now look what it says for free memory. Minus 26461. Now anybody out in Commodore land that knows Commodore, what does that mean? Because it should read, I think, in the 64 mode, it should read 28 something. Or no, 38 something. But it's saying minus 26461. Minus 26461. So that's weird. And so what I saw online, it's something with the memory. Now this thing has been sitting and it didn't have any problem until you know, we booted it back up here. So it wasn't like, you know, it was running and then we figured out the problem. It was, I remember a long time ago we booted it back up here and it was doing this little cursor thing, but we didn't realize that it was the memory. We were just thinking it was a bad connection or somewhere on one of the cables. But somehow the memory just went out, just sitting, because it wasn't when we were using it. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm going to take it back apart and see if the motherboard has any corrosion on it and try to clean it. Maybe that'll help. But from what I saw online, the people piggyback the memory and find the bad one and then replace it, and it gets going again. So it might just be that memory in there is just gone bad. And I did, for the Commodore people that know what I'm about to say about peeking and poking, I did that little program to peek and poke on the memory, and it wouldn't let me get through it because when I get to a certain point on it, the whole screen turns to a bunch of garbage crap. So I couldn't even run that program to where it runs and tests all the memory. So it wouldn't even let me do that. But it's, you know, it's clean, it looks good, it's working now for the most part except for the memory. I'm going to take it back apart and see if I get it to working better. As far as the 28 mode, now if you come over here and switch this up, put it in 28 mode, there's the 28 mode, and that's that warp speed cartridge. And then I had the mock cartridge. I didn't really like this one. And the only reason I didn't like this one is because the screen, you always have to change the color of the screen because the default color, I mean, it's not a bad cartridge and it works really good, but I didn't like the default screen colors. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. You don't supposed to pull these out while it's running, but I don't care. Okay, now this one, see the 64, it was hard to read the screen, the colors on it. It looked better in the camera, but here it looks kind of washed out. And this one just had that greener, brighter look to it. But, you know, this one still worked good. And then it had the 128 mode. And that one says the normal stuff that the Commodore would say. Get that to focus in. Commodore Electronics Ltd. 1977 Microsoft. And then Mach 128. So if you remove the cartridge and boot it in 128 mode, that's basically what it says there, except for the Mach thing at the bottom. But you see how it says, now that's, I saw online that that number there is just a default number, 12 bytes free. And even in this 128 mode, if I type print, okay, it's not, oh, it's trying to run this disk. Let me, yeah, I forgot, 128 mode is auto booting. Okay, now if I go to the 128 mode and type the print free oh yeah, wait a minute, that's wrong. Print free oh yeah, see in 128 mode, wait a minute, did I do that right? No. Print, I don't think it does it in the 128 mode. It gives you that little symbol there, and I don't know what that is. And then if I go to the 64, hold this key down here and reset it to 64 mode. Let's try that again. Holding that key down. Okay, it's not holding down for some reason. Hold the Commodore key. Okay, what is going on? Now it's not even wanting to go to 64 mode. Yeah, that's funny. Now I can't even get it to 64 mode. So I think I'm going to take it back apart, see if the motherboard is dirty, got some corrosion on some kind of line on one of those things on the what do they call it, on the board, and go from there. But it's probably going to be the memory. So if anybody knows what that means of a minus 26.4, what was it, 26.461 on memory, leave a comment below. But this is the only one I got to load, was burning rubber, and this one up here, Quicks. All this other software, and I pretty much went through every one of them. And in the beginning, I couldn't even get directories on most of the software until I cleaned the heads, and I took this thing back apart, cleaned the heads a little bit better, and ran that head cleaner in there. But other than that, I guess I'm going to wrap this video up here. Alright, that was test, and I guess I'm going to take it back apart and see if the motherboard's got something wrong with it. But it's probably going to need the memory from what I saw online. Alright, I'm out from this one.